Madam Deputy Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for Edinburgh South West and the Honourable Member for Mitcham and Morden and the Honourable Member for Birmingham and Erdington because I've really enjoyed working with you all on this, all with our own stories. And I should get my own personal interest stated. My sister Georgie is there. She was diagnosed with a GBM nearly 2 years ago. She is, I'd like to say alive and well, but she's alive and she's doing well. And she has been brave, she has been determined, and she has been an inspiration to all of us. And it's particularly painful as she is a mother of 3 and a wife and a daughter and a sister. So we have a lot to focus on, and it is on us collectively. So I'm not going to rehash too much, but I think, well, you know, and I'll try to resist having a cry fest, but it might be difficult, the actions are what we are going to be judged on, and what we as a team can do. And I'm afraid I'm going to throw it a little bit over on the other side because you are the government now, and really you have more power than we do on this side. So I really, when we leave the chamber today, I really ask each of you to be going, okay, what are we going to actually do? Because that's, you know, the talk in this chamber is nice, but it's actually the actions that count. And I'm going to just pick up on 2 points which I'd particularly like to focus. One is that trial register. And I mean, we've lived it firsthand, Georgie, trying to find what trials are out there. And obviously there aren't enough trials out there. We know that, and that's something that we need to fix. But also just matching patients with trials. I mean, that's not rocket science. This is a very basic thing. And I would also encourage the government to be looking at what's going on in the private sector, because rather than just start it from scratch and take months and months to kind of reinvent the wheel, find out what's going on in the private sector, what's already there in terms of registers of people seeking trials and what trials are out there, and build on that. If that's a partnership with some company out there, fine, but let's just move quickly because speed really does count here. The second thing is about orphan drug regulations, and a key trigger for me getting into politics was Brexit. I thought it was a disastrous idea, and I still do. And I still kind of struggle to find any possible gain, but I'll give one gain for Brexit which we could actually do off here. So the EU has got its regulations around orphan drugs. We could have more generous regulations around orphan drugs. We could pull research into the UK, and that would allow us, by giving it a few extra years on those patents, to encourage people to be digging into this critical research in these critical areas. So if that's one potential gain, you know, I live in hope. But also just a couple of things I'd like to highlight beyond that. So one is, even if we get there, we have to get these products obtained. Reimbursement has to be accessible on the NHS, and that is far from certain. And so kind of ensuring there's a robust, timely and accessible route to make these drugs available on the NHS and reaching patients, that really counts. So that bit mustn't fall off the radar screen. That's critical. And also just looking at the amount of clinical researchers active in the UK today, we are really, really falling behind. And if we want to get this research moving, we have to really think about what are we doing to get clinical researchers working hard on this space and other spaces, because we're not doing a good enough job on that. And that's all I'm going to say, but I will return to that first point, which is, you know, action. That's what we need, and good to have you here.